Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our edition's news for tonight. Here are the headlines. Following the festivity of the 41st anniversary of independence in the region, on international scene, agreement on the migrant issues. That were our top story for tonight. Let's get to the details. In this celebration of the 41st anniversary of our independence, His Majesty the Sultan Qaboos sent a message of congratulations to the President of the Republic on the occasion of the 41st anniversary of the country. In a message, the Sultan Qaboos expressed his sincere congratulations to His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, wishing him a lot of joy and happiness and prosperity to the President and the people of Djibouti. A similar message of the King of Bahrain, His Majesty Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, who sent a message of congratulations to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, on the occasion of the 41st anniversary of the country. In his message, the King of Bahrain, Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, expressed his sincere congratulations to the Excellency, wishing him and happiness and prosperity to the people of Djibouti. Like the other region in the capital, the region of Arta celebrated with pomp the 41st anniversary of independence in the square. The entire population of Arta city and local locality has converged on the venue of the independence ceremony, where the musical and folk groups have presented a worthy performance to celebrate this historic event in the presence of authorities of the region of Arta, whose prefect Abdullah Darar Ukiye, the chairman of the board El Mibouh, the various parliamentarians and elected representatives of the region. The government was represented by the Minister of Transport, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Hilim. The audience took up the heart of the national anthem, with the artist present in a great emotion in memory of the great sacrifices of Djiboutian to gain independence. The prefect of Arta wishes a happy Independence Day to the entire population of the region and Arta and all Djiboutian in the country.
Le président de la République, Ismail Omar Guelleh, faisait partie.
The Minister of Transport, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Hilim, said he was proud and pleased to represent the government in the millennial and historic city of Tajura, the seat of the Sultanate. During his speech, he honored the courage, dignity, and memory of all the heroes of independence who deserve infinite and eternal recognition. And now let's follow the military parade in this region.
وعندما حكم على القطاعات فالقاش الخليفية تعب ثلاثة وتعبك تكون مثل قلوبة الوصول بالوقت حياتنا ساعة ساعتنا وبالنسبة لوقت معايا قلوب مدين جوتا مدين
أكاديمية ولا قتل؟
The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, had the honor to represent the government the festivities of the 41st anniversary, which were celebrated with pomp on Tuesday night on the place of independence in the white city of Tajura. Beside the Minister of National Education, the Prefect and the President of the region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Benoita and Omar Hussein, parliamentarians, notables and uqals, but also the youth and the entire population of Tajura has mobilized widely on the night of Tuesday, 26th of June, in the square of independence of the white city where the party was taking place, a party that was totally notably through the cleverly orchestrated musical entertainment and folk dance performance or demonstration of the Caterius fight. The public vibrated to the sound of the tubes that made by the glory of the struggle for independence, interpreted by big names of the Djiboutian song as Abayezid or Gisod. The atmosphere was overheated by the time the 12 strokes of midnight had struck. The party had given way to a moment of extreme solemnity with the raising of the flag on the resonance of the national anthem. With their hands on their heart, the officials and the people of Tajura held the emblems of the republic as one man. Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Benoita also reminded the many achievements of the government to accelerate the development of the Tajura region. He said that the region of Tajura began under the impetus of the President of the Republic, an economic boom which is confirmed our year to year. He said Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud spoke in his speech at length about the many socio-economic development projects that were completed in the Tajura region under the leadership of the head of state, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. He put a particular emphasis on the progress made in education, a trend that he will straighten from year to year. He insisted. The ceremony ended with awards representations to the best students in the various school exams. The Minister of National Education said that he was proud and pleased to represent the government in the millennial and historical city of Tajura. He said during his speech, the honor, the courage, dignity and memory all the heroes of independence who deserve infinity and eternal recognitions. He greeted the memory of the founding father of our republic, namely the late Al-Hajj Hassan Guled Abtidon and the late Prime Ministers Haji Barkhad Gurad Hamad. Early in the morning of Wednesday, June 27, the military parade celebrating the 41st anniversary of independence took place on the main artery of the White City. The parade was sponsored by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, the prefect and the president of the region, numerous personalities including parliamentarians and elected officials of the region. The minister and officials first greeted the flag that was raised under the sound of the national anthem before reviewing the troops of the Tadjura Joint Regiment and the National Police Detachment. And now in Al Sabih, the population of this region celebrate national independence. They were gathered as usual in the place of the national independence of the city of Aska in front of the premises of the prefecture. Atmosphere, the festivities that took place under the offices of the prefect of Ali Sabih, Mr. Mohammed Awabiri Asowe, were marked by the participation of many personalities, among whom she had seen the presence of the Secretary of State for the Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Omar Ahmed Wa'is, two representatives of the Asadjo in the National Assembly, Mr. Almi Mahabe Wa'is and Roda Ahmed Ali, the heads of the regional securities body and local elected officials.
Rendons d'abord grâce à Dieu, le Tout-Puissant, notre société qui a su développer.
Morning of June 27, the celebration continued with the military parade.
ciidankeenii maasha force nationale. inaguna animationku noo sii socon doonaa ciyaal u saxabeeya shaqaaleynii
The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad, received the visit of the Ethiopian parliamentary delegation of about 30 members, led by Tesfaye Daba, chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. After the traditional greeting, the two sides exchanged on ways and means to enhance the benefits of the relation between the institutions of the two countries. In addition, several topics of common interest were mentioned before the working meeting. President Mohammed Ali Hamad and his Ethiopian counterpart also discussed issues related to the strengthening of regional parliamentary diplomacy, particularly those that brings together the member parliaments of the Inter-Parliamentary Union of IGAD. They raised the need to increase exchanges and visits between the speakers and the different committees of parliament. Also present at this meeting were the ambassador of Ethiopia and Djibouti and the director of the cabinet of the president of the National Assembly, Mr. Idris Mohammed Ahmed. At the end of the discussion, the two parties carried out an enlarged working meeting between the delegation of the two parties. In a brief speech, the Ethiopian host expressed her satisfactions at meeting the president of the assembly and said he was delighted that the meeting between the two parties. At the beginning of the working meeting, the President of the National Assembly condemned the cowardly and terrorist attack that was directed against the elected representative of the people and the many people who came to express their admirations and support for the first newly elected minister. Continuing his remarks, the President stated that despite his international criminal intent against the Prime Minister has continued to act for the national security and the protection of lives and citizens by incurring into the wounded and hospitalized patients. This act of courage and of Prime Minister Abiy shows the strong link that he united with the Ethiopian people. We regret to announce the death of Fire Elmi of Asadiri, occurred at the hospital of Al-Rahma Tuesday morning. The late Elmi, her former railway official, was 14 years a member of parliament. He leaves a large family behind him, including a widow, 6 children, and 23 grandchildren. We share the grief of the family and loved ones following the death of the late Elmi Afase, to whom we address our sincere condolence. We pray the good God, to welcome him to his eternal paradise. Amin, inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And now let's move to international scene. Madagascar will hold a presidential election on November, the Prime Minister said Friday, after street protested and a political crisis. The fourth, the appointment of a caretaker government. Hinda has more to tell us.
Madagascar will hold a presidential election on November 7, the Prime Minister said Friday, after a street protest and political crisis that forced the appointment of a caretaker government. If no candidate wins an outright majority, a second round of voting will be held on December 19, added Prime Minister Christian Nese. The Indian Island nation has been in the grab of a growing standoff over proposed electoral reforms that to create mass protest and lead the constitutional call to order caretaker government to organize the ballot.
We will close our edition tonight. Thank you for watching us. Good night.